If you're like most people, you've probably had some of the same goals either on your New Year's resolutions or on your vision board for years and still not achieve them. It's super frustrating, but it's also super common. And what if I told you that it's not exactly all your fault? And that once you learn what I'm about to tell you in this video, you'll have the knowledge to change your mindset and to make your brain work with you instead of against you. How many of us want that? Yeah, that's what I thought. Okay, so stay tuned and get your goggles on because we are about to dive into this. Hey, hi, hello, and welcome back for another video. I'm Jaden if you're new here, and if not, hey girl, it's good to see you again. On this channel, we talk about mindset, self-development, and how to become our best selves from the inside out. So subscribe if you vibe, hit that like button and the notification bell so you don't miss anything from me. And if you didn't know, I'm also a women's mindset and confidence coach. So if you would like more from me than just my YouTube videos, you can book a call with me or get any of my offerings down below in the description box. Okay, now back to the video. Sure, you want your desires. Duh, don't we all? But I also want to tell you, you wouldn't even have the desire if it wasn't possible for you in the first place. But you also won't be able to get them if you don't believe you can have them. So believe that you have the desire for a reason and believe that it is possible for you. You're never going to get the dream partner if you don't believe you deserve them. You're never going to have the robust bank account if you don't believe that money can come to you and stay. You have to believe that you can and you will have your desires, or those desires will never be able to make their way to you. I think that if you've been on the internet for the last few years, the universal laws are somewhat common knowledge. And I think that the most common one is the law of attraction. So the law of attraction, super simplified, basically means that like attracts like. So you don't attract what you want, you attract what you are. This is why it's so important to cultivate some confidence. Even if you're faking it till you make it, girl, there's a reason that saying is out there. There's a reason it works. What you think about, you bring about. So just by that simplified explanation alone, how are you going to manifest and call in true love in your life if you believe this generation is just trash and there's no good men or women out there anywhere? You can't. That's why you don't have it. If you believe that everyone sucks and everyone's awful and that there's no point to dating, you're not going to call in true love, even if that's what you want most. Now, hear me out. You may not consciously be thinking that way, but if you have a subconscious limiting belief, then that is what's keeping the love, the money, the whatever from you. Our minds are like icebergs. Our conscious mind, or the visible part of the iceberg, makes up only 5% of our mind. Our subconscious, the part of the iceberg submerged underwater, rules the other 95% of our mind. Scientists estimate that humans have anywhere from 60 to 70,000 thoughts a day. That is way too many for us to consciously be keeping track of and consciously be monitoring. So our subconscious mind takes up most of the work of processing the world around us, which is pretty efficient. However, the subconscious is what's responsible for 95% of what we're thinking and feeling on a day-to-day basis. And it really doesn't change unless you put in the work to make it change. Is also likely the place of origin for all your limiting beliefs that you're sabotaging yourself with. This is why the subconscious is so important, because you probably aren't actively, intentionally thinking negatively with the conscious 5%. However, you very well could be with the subconscious 95% of it. You inherit your parents' or caregivers' limiting beliefs. They are seeds that are planted within your mind as a child. And as you grow older, they're only amplified by your personal experiences because our brains look for ways to support our beliefs. Have you ever discovered a car that you really like and you never noticed it before, but now that you know about it, now that you really like it, you see it everywhere? This is called confirmation bias. And it happens because of this little part in our brain called the reticular activating system, RAS for short. This is part of why the quote, "Whether you think you can or you can't, you're right," from Henry Ford is so relevant. Because our reticular activating system will look for evidence to support your beliefs. If your beliefs are beneficial and they do support you in achieving your goals and becoming the person you want to be, then it's a lot of good nice positive confirmation. However, if you're on the other end of the spectrum, which I believe a lot of people are, then you're going to keep seeing ways as to why you can't do what you want, why you can't be who you want. When really, if we can switch this in our brains and make it work for us instead of against us, you can do whatever you want. And you can. But whether you think you can or you can't, you're right. Our minds are extremely powerful, but it's up to you to learn about your own brain so that you can use this supercomputer in your head to your advantage. And if you're loving this conversation so far, go ahead and hit subscribe, because if you're enjoying this, that means you're a baddie with a brain and I want to be friends. So we often encounter the same experiences as the people who raised us because we've adopted their mindsets and been in the same environments. But if the beliefs that have solidified into your subconscious do not serve you, then unlearn them and reprogram your mind to believe in your success. And if you want to learn more about that, I have made a video on this already. It's called How to Eliminate Your Limiting Beliefs. Go and watch that after this one. And I believe that we are collectively waking up and starting to see the invisible chains that the few used to keep the many where they wanted them, because we're now in this amazing information age. Most of us have the freedom, the resources, and the capability of learning what our limitations are and releasing them so that we can become the best versions of ourselves and live our best lives. Which, I don't know about you, but this is super exciting for me because we now know so much more scientifically, psychologically, financially, spiritually than our parents and grandparents did. I mean, think about it. If you want to learn about skincare or mental health and psychology, you can go online and find tons of articles on the subject in a second. Or you can go to YouTube or TikTok and watch videos from actual dermatologists and psychologists. I mean, when have you ever had access to information straight from the source, straight from the professional, as easily as you do now? I want to say never before. So if you're not taking advantage of this, then you're going to fall behind. You've probably heard the saying, knowledge is power. Well, why not accumulate all the knowledge, all the power that you can, so that you can become your best self and live your best life? And the more powerful you become, the more you can help other people do the same. So I suggest that you do some shadow work and find some affirmations or subliminals that you like from a creator you trust, or you can make your own. I have made my own, and they just kind of come to me either in meditation or just kind of out of nowhere, and I write them down, and I will use those affirmations that are, specific to whatever I'm going through, whatever I'm trying to work on or manifest. And I do have affirmations included in my offerings, the Glow Up Guide and Confidence is Key. Those are also linked down in the description, so you can get those as well. But I also have a few creators on YouTube that I really like to listen to affirmations from, or subliminal videos. That would be Leora Alexandra, love her, been listening to her for years, or House of Vibrations, and Mary Kate. When I'm doing all my mindfulness practices, I notice a big difference. So trust me when I say this does work, but you also have to believe that it works. If you're one of those people that's like, no, affirmations are BS and I'm not going to do it, that's fine. You don't have to. I'm just giving you suggestions of what works for me, what I enjoy, but you do have to believe, I'm sure you've heard of the placebo effect, also a real thing. That's where doctors would give some patients in a study the actual medication, and some people would just get a placebo pill that didn't have the medication, and the groups would get similar results. Sometimes the placebo would even do better. So your mind is incredibly powerful. And if you haven't realized that from everything else that we have talked about in this video, I highly encourage you to continue doing some research on the power of your mind, because it seriously is so powerful. And once you can get it to work for you instead of against you, you're going to be unstoppable. I'm just going to tell you that right now. Huge change does not happen overnight. You may not notice the good that is coming from these mindfulness practices at first, but they will change your mindset, your outlook, your perspective, your beliefs, little by little, the more you do it. But you've got to stay consistent. You can't just do it once a month and expect your whole life to change. But with repetition, you will see these small shifts in your mindset have a big ripple effect. And you never know who your ripple effect could help. This is about more than just us, because whenever you learn to become a better version of yourself and you show up for yourself and you help yourself, you're better able to help the people around you. So for anyone who has maybe the limiting belief that money is evil, you need to work through that. Money is not evil. Money is just a tool that amplifies who you already are. So you may look at rich people and be like, all rich people are rude, they're snobby, they don't care about humanity, they don't care about the environment. Not all rich people. That's a limiting belief. And that is also keeping you from being rich. I mean, think about it. If you had money, would you do good with it or bad? You'd probably do good. If you're on my channel, you'd probably do good with the money. But you're never going to get the money in order to do any good for yourself or others if you believe that it's wrong, that it's evil, and that everyone that has it is a bad person. These are the kind of things that we need to dive into. So go and watch my video about limiting beliefs. You can also get my glow up guide if you're wanting to change your identity and become the person that you see on the next level, on the next tier, that you've envisioned for yourself, that you just haven't quite brought to reality yet. The glow up guide will help you do that. So yeah, the internal changes that you make will have an impact not only on your inner world, but also on the outer world. And you never know how far your ripple effect will go. You never know how many people you could help by helping yourself. That's how I got to this point. That's how you're seeing this video. That's how I have a YouTube channel, is because I got tired of my own crap. And I was like, I'm the only one holding myself back at this point. So make the channel, make the videos, make the impact, and reach other people and help them do the same. I am nowhere near where I want to be, but I'm taking little steps every day to get to that point, to have the life that I envision for myself, to be my dream woman. So I'm not telling you all this on a high horse. I'm only human too. And I have to remind myself that I don't have to be perfect, and that being perfect is actually not where the magic is. The magic is in the messiness, in the imperfection. It's knowing that you're not who you want to be, but you're still showing up day in and day out because you can become her. You can be an inspiration to somebody else who wants to do the same thing. Because shining your light empowers others to shine theirs. So don't let yourself or anyone else scare you into staying small. If you're always hiding, who are you going to help? How are you going to grow? You just got to take it one day at a time, little by little, and then all at once. Because there are days where I waver, where you will waver, but that doesn't mean that us occasionally questioning ourselves makes us any less qualified to step into our purpose. It doesn't. It just means you're human. It just means you're experiencing all the emotions of life like everyone else. Everyone feels insecure at some point. So I hope this video has helped you in some way. If it did, please let me know in the comments down below. I would love to hear your takeaways from this video, or comment a white emoji. And I love you ladies so much. If you didn't know, if you couldn't tell, I really care about you guys. And I love this community that we're building. We're almost to 1,000 subscribers. Woo, woo, woo. Hey, I'm so excited. Thank you so much for spending your time and energy with me. I really appreciate it. And if you want to keep hanging out with me, then go ahead and watch this video next. YouTube thinks that you will like it. I love you so much, and I'll see you in the next video. Mwah. Bye. We're on. And we're rolling like Stanley Tucci. Now the sun comes out. All right. Well, thank you. I didn't want it to be dark. Everyone feels insecure at some point. At some point. Super simplified. Super simplified. You can... I'm distracted by the cardinal. Oh, he flew away. That grickle is too big to go on that feeder. Anyway, I'm getting distracted by the birds. What else is new? Okay.